Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy Winning Wednesday. Listen, I hope you all had a fantastic, phenomenal, exciting, motivating day today, because I certainly have. It's been a long day as always, but it's been a great day nonetheless. So today's topic is when people write you off. And I was on my way back from my sister's house. So I said, let me do this video before I go in the house, because if I go in the house, this video is not going to happen. But anyway, I was listening, the very last song I was listening to, the Marvin Sapp. I believe it was Marvin Sapp that I was listening to. And he talks about how people will write you off, but God only sees us for who we are, not what we did. That's powerful right there, y'all. And I was singing it quite loud, okay? And you know, when you're in the car, you always sound good, even if you can't sing. But I love it. And I said, wow, how fitting, because my topic is about when people write you off, and that's what he was singing about. But this song I want to share the words to is called Millions by Ashford Sanders. And so I did not know that the song was actually written by the Winans. So I found that version. So I have both of them now in my playlist. And so I was looking at the video on YouTube. And I believe it was Marvin Winans, and he was talking about, basically he was setting the tone for the song. He said, imagine that you've gone to heaven. There are a ton of people around, but you're having your one-on-one time with God. And then I thought about, wow, you know, that's deep in and of itself. But if I bring it down on this realm, and you think about the topic of the song, millions, and the chorus of the song that says millions didn't make it, and you think about all the people that didn't make it in terms of their goals and their dreams because they gave up, they threw in the towel, or they didn't even try because they said, oh, there's too many people. Well, there's too many of a lot of things. But when you set goals for yourself and you achieve them, and you think about the millions that didn't make it, or if you grew up in one of those really, really, really West Side neighborhoods where, you know, you stood a 1 in 20 chance of making it out alive, and you think about how millions didn't make it out of that neighborhood alive, but you did. And that's unfortunate. May their souls rest in peace, but you made it. It's powerful. So it says, if I can just make it up there, and if I can walk through that city bright and fair, there's probably 1,000 things I want to tell the Lord on that day. I'll just begin to cry. You'll wipe the tears from my eyes. I'll say thanks. You'll ask why. This will be my reply. You know, millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. Y'all, that's powerful. Can you imagine the tears rolling down your face, and God is wiping those tears away, and you say thank you, and God says why? And you say, because millions didn't make it here to even have this conversation with you, but I'm one of the ones who did. Y'all, that's powerful right there. All right, now, when he gets to that part of the song, the tears just begin to roll because it's deep. And then he goes on to say, don't you know, there'd probably be 1,000 things I want to tell the Lord on that day. I'll begin to cry. You'll wipe the tears from my eyes. I'll say thanks. You'll ask why. This will be my reply. You know, millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. He says, I made it over. I came through trials and tribulations and persecutions. I made it over. I came through hard trials and tribulations. I made it over. I ain't know they didn't believe I would have made it. I want to testify that I made it over. And that line where he talks about he didn't know that people didn't believe that he was going to make it over. That's what I talk about when I mean people write you off. And before I jump into my notes for that, it made me think about Steve Harvey. He tells this story about how he had family members when he told them he wanted to be a comedian, and they laughed and said, oh, child, you'll never do that. You better keep that job. I think he was working at the General Motors plant. And they told him, you better keep that job at that plant, work whatever number of years he had to work, get your retirement and go on about your business. But he was determined that he was going to be successful. And guess what? Millions determined they were going to be successful, but they didn't make it. Oh, but Steve did. And so that's now his testimony that he made it. He didn't give up. He didn't give in, even when other people didn't believe in him. And I think he has, I think he has an aunt, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has an aunt that didn't believe in him, that he still sends her a check every month. He said, but I don't blame her for not believing in me, because I guess she didn't know anybody that had become famous. And, the way they grew up, you got a job working in the plant. You worked your whatever number of years, you retired, collect your pension, and you moved on with your life. So he said, I don't blame her for that. Just a powerful testimony to have. So before I jump in again, did y'all notice right there, my backseat passenger's in her seatbelt? Yes, she stays there. Don't judge me because I don't judge you. So anyway, when someone decides to write you off, here are some things that you should do. Number one, forgive them. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Michelle, now why in the world should I forgive somebody that wrote me off? Are you serious? Yes, I am. I am very serious. You should forgive them. And let me tell you why. When you forgive someone, you're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for you. See, when I forgive you, I'm freeing myself. And then I can move on. It doesn't matter what you get out of it. I'm forgiving you for me, because I need that peace of mind to be able to move on with my life. Now, if you are thankful for it, that's great. Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But when people write you off, honey, forgive them. What does the Bible say? God said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And those people, they didn't know any better. That's why they didn't believe in you. That's why they wrote you off. Because, and some of them wrote you off because they didn't want to see you succeed. Come on, somebody. Some of them wrote you off because they didn't believe you could, because like Steve's story, they didn't know anybody that had made it and was successful. So they just didn't believe it was possible. From where they come from, it's not something that people do. So forgive them. Not for them, but for you. Number two, address them. And in my notes, I put when the time is right, of course. So when the time is right, address them with whatever that concern is. It's all right when y'all are sitting down talking for you to say, I remember when you didn't think that I could do this. Because see, once you make it, people are quick to say, oh, I am so proud of you. I always believed you could do it. I wish this man would stop blowing his daggone horn. I always knew you could do it, and all this other good stuff, and sometimes it's legitimate, sometimes it's not. But when the time is right, address them and say, well, I appreciate that. I do. But I remember a time when you didn't believe in me. I remember a time when you tried to discourage me from going after my goals and my dreams. And you can say it in a nice way, with a smile on your face. Remember the quote I shared with you all a while back, where I think it was Winston Churchill, when he says, tact is the ability to tell a man to go to hell and make him feel good about being on his way. You can tactfully, just let them know how their disbelief in you or their non-belief in you made you feel. It's all right to do that, but do it with a smile, okay? Now, the word you choose to use, that's on you. Number three, simply move on and don't think twice about it. It's their loss. And so when people write you off, honey, you can just say, whatever, I'm not tripping off of that. Let them think what they want to think. You can show people better than you can tell them. So you can just let it go on out there and prove them wrong. Because they'll come back and say, wow, I didn't know you could do it. Or, wow, I didn't believe you could do it. So you can do that if that's what you choose to do. Because I know sometimes I'm not a combative person unless you bring it to my doorstep. What did I forgot who it was, said, don't come for me unless I send for you. Yeah, that's how I am. So as long as you don't come for me, I'm not going to be combative with you. I'm not going back and forth with you. I just refuse to do it. Okay. So you can just let it go. Show them that, hey, guess what? I said what I said and I meant what I said. So, it is what it is. Number 4, remember God always removes what isn't good for you from your life in order to make way for something better. So when people write you off, a lot of times that's God's way of saying, you know what? That person doesn't need to be in your life anyway. So I'm going to let them write you off so you can see them for who they are and you can cut them off and keep it moving. Because I'm always of the belief that when people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, you need to believe them. Don't make excuses for them. Believe them and keep it moving. That's powerful. Now, here's your takeaway. Don't write off anybody. And I want y'all to really hear me. Don't write off anybody because of what you heard, what you've seen, or know about them. Let me put a pin right there. I don't care. And y'all know I don't like to use that word, but I don't care what you heard, what you saw, or what you know. Don't you write anybody off. I think I shared with you all before when people say, Michelle, why do you always tell people I believe in you? And you know good and well that idea that they had doesn't stand a snowball's chance and you know where. Well, I do that because who am I to write your idea off? Who am I to write you off? I'm not God. God can bless anything. He can bless anybody. So why would I write you off? I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to encourage people. Okay. So don't write off anybody because you don't want anybody to. And the funny thing is that the people that don't want it done to them, they're the ones that do it to other people. And then I said, everybody can change. Like Olita Adams' song says, everything must change. Nothing stays the same. The young become the old and mysteries do unfold. And then it goes on and on and on. But everything and everybody can change. So you might look at Susie and say, I remember when she couldn't be faithful to a rainy night in Georgia. I don't know where that came from, but you get the idea. And now all of a sudden you want us to believe you're in this committed relationship and you're faithful. Well, you know what? People change. That's just like that man that was a dog has now gotten himself together. And he's saying, hey, look, give me another chance because I've gotten myself together. And I promise it'll never happen again. Now, you can choose to give him another chance. Or for men, you can choose to give her another chance if you want to. If you don't, that's up to you and completely understandable. But people can change. So always remember that before you try to quickly jump to writing somebody off. And I have down here, you aren't God. And you don't know what God has in store for that person. You're not God. See, only God knows that we've truly changed. I can tell you that I'm a changed person. God knows that I am. You don't know that. I know it and God knows it, but you don't know that. So don't be quick to write folks off. And in Proverbs 11 and 12, and you all can go read this in your own time, it says, it is foolish to belittle a neighbor. A person with good sense remains silent. And that's from the New Living Translation version. So make sure you go and read that. And so I end up with, be careful how you talk to those you write off. Now I need you to listen. Be careful how you talk to those that you write off, because they will soon come out of their situation. And what you said, hear this, will either count for you or against you. That's why I'm always telling people, be careful how you talk to folks, because that person that you're talking to, you know, you might be here and you might think they're beneath you and they're here, but they're going to come out of that situation and they're going to end up becoming level with you, or they may become above you. So be careful what you say to people, because whatever it was you said, it can work for you, for your good, or against you. Because and I've seen this happen before where someone treated someone else like crap and they got back on their feet, and the person that treated the individual like crap, they were now in need of that person, either for finances or something else. And then they can come back and say, well, you know what? Excuse me. I remember when I was down and you counted me out and you treated me like I was nothing. And now here you are asking me for a favor. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you this. Yes, I am a Christian, and God's word says that we are to forgive people. And I'm a very forgiving person. But just because I forgive you, it doesn't mean I didn't forget about what you said or how you treated me. That's a whole nother story. I can forgive you, but that doesn't mean that you can come to me and ask me for anything other than prayer, because I will freely give that all day long. I don't even have to like you, and I can pray for you. But don't you dare come to me asking me for an opportunity, asking me for any money, asking me to take you someplace. The answer is no. See, because I remember what you said. And yes, you may have said it out of anger. You may have said it out of jealousy, but I'm not going to forget. Okay? Let's do a quick recap, and I'm going to let you be. So today we talked about when people write you off, and I gave you some things to think about, some things that you can do when that happens. Now, this is not a complete list, of course, because there are other things that you can do, but these are just the ones I wanted to share. I said you can forgive them. And again, it's not forgiving them for them. It's for you so that you can move on. You can address them when the time is right. It's all right to sit and tell people how they made you feel when they said ABCXYZ. It's all right to do that. And you can do it in a tactful way. And again, tact is relative. So all I'm saying is, don't come at them with both fists ready to go. Do it in a tactful way. See, because you can kill people with kindness. Number 3, I said, simply just move on and don't think twice about it, because it's their loss. And number 4, I said, remember, God always removes what isn't good for you from your life in order to make way for something better. So when people show you who they are, that's just God's way of saying, you don't need them. I have something better for you. And then in your takeaway, I said, don't write off anybody because of what you've seen, what you heard, or what you know. Because here's the thing that I didn't mention before. People know the same things about you. Somebody somewhere knows something about you that somebody else doesn't know. So be careful about writing somebody off because they have a drinking problem. Because just a few years ago, you had a drinking problem. Or don't be careful about writing somebody off because they have a recreational drug problem. Because not that long ago, you had a recreational drug problem. Don't be quick to write somebody off because they have cheated. Because guess what? You cheated too. That's why I said be careful how you treat people. And then I said everybody can change. Everybody can change. Now, granted, they have to want to change, but everybody can change. I don't care who it is. Everybody can change. And you're not God. So who are you to write off anybody? See, I'm thankful that God's mercies and his blessings are new every day for us, even when we don't deserve it. So how dare you write off somebody else when God sees fit to bless you every day that you wake up, and he forgives you of your sins and your shortcomings, but you want to go and write somebody else off, but you be the first one, oh Lord, forgive me. Shut up. Because in order for you to be forgiven, you need to make sure you are forgiving somebody else. That got under my skin. Let me move on. And then I talked about Proverbs 11 and 12, and make sure you go read that. And then I said, be careful how you talk to those people that you write off, because they will soon come out of their situation. And what you said will either count for or against you. So I would say choose wisely the words that come out of your mouth. Listen, y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Hopefully something that I said marinates with you. And just meditate on what I said, because I want you all to be better people. And I know somewhere somebody's listening to this and you're thinking about that time that somebody wrote you off. Or somebody's probably has written you off even now. Or you may have been the one that wrote somebody else off. But I want you to truly let this sink in. And remember, we don't have a right to write off anybody. I believe in everybody. I'm never going to write you off. Now, forgiveness does not necessarily mean reunion. Doesn't mean I want to hang out with you, but I do forgive you. And I hope and pray for nothing but the best for you. So I don't want to be written off. That's why I don't write off other people. Okay. So remember that. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you come back Friday for another motivational topic. If this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. Y'all know I miss you when I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, enjoy the rest of your evening, depending on where you live. Enjoy this nice weather, because I think cooler weather is coming back starting tomorrow into the weekend. So, when we get these bursts of sun and these high temperatures, get out there, enjoy it. Whatever you do, just make sure you're careful. Wherever you go, just make sure you're careful. Watch your surroundings and use your hand sanitizer. Y'all know the spiel, right? But whatever you do, just go out there, enjoy the rest of your day. And y'all know the drill. You know the spiel. I love you. I love you all to the moon and back. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Isn't that interesting how I just love you all and you can't do anything about it? Because I do. I love you. I believe in you. And my job is to encourage you and to motivate you to want to become better people. And take what I'm teaching you, use it in your personal life, but share it with somebody else that you think may need to hear this video. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, what in the world are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Stop playing. And tap the bell so that you don't miss anything that I have to share. So also, before I let you go, if you did not watch my video from, Monday, make sure you go check it out about my offer, because I am doing I don't know if I said a 6 or 8 week promotional workshop, but I can only work with 10 people. So if you're one of those 10 people and you want to learn to become a confident speaker, not inbox me. I was gonna say DM, but I don't even know if YouTube has a DM. But email me. It's in the bio, in the description box. Even in my bio, I think there's my email there as well. Email me. Say, Michelle, look, I'm ready. I want in, because once I get my 10 people, it's closed. It's a pilot program. So that's why I need 10 people that I can coach and work with before I put it out there for the masses, because I want you all to become confident speakers. Okay. You never know when you have to get up and speak. So make sure you check that out as well. Like I said, that video was done on Monday, which was just 2 days ago. Listen, y'all, I got to go because I have a couple things to do before I call it a night. Love you all. And we will talk again on Friday. Until then, take care.